Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I want to try to think a bit about the floating pearls effect, which was done by Julie Cutts from Pouring Your Heart Out. I'm gonna link her channel in the description. I was very fascinated by that. What she uses is the Decoart Supreme Sheen paint, and I think it's a form of metallics, and the effect what I wonder is if it's really connected to that specific type of paint. I have seen metallics behave very different in pours than normal paint, so I wonder if it's just simply the type of consistency and type of metallics that does this effect. Because I have experimented with a very liquishy base and thicker colors, and that gave a very weird effect. And in this case, if you look also at her original videos, the base is basically a little bit thicker and the thinner ring pour is swimming on top of it. So if you move it, the underlaying moves slower than the top. And I suspect also that the metallic is repelling water more than normal acrylic paint. So I have used now similar recipe than she did. So the only variable in here is that I only use craft paint, because I don't, for experimenting, I actually never use expensive paint. But I used a similar mixing ratio, and I have also a craft gold metallic, and I have Decoart metallic. So if it's like company related or something like that, it should also do something. I'm gonna put the normal gold and the rose gold on the canvas, and then a ring pour in blue and black on top of it, because I wanna in the future make a really dark painting, and it would be really cool if only the outside would have this type of floating pearls. So the mixing ratio I used is 1 part paint. No, it's not. She uses 1 part paint and 2 parts Floetrol with a zip of water. But as that always depends on the acrylic paint you use, I now have like 3 parts Floetrol, 1 part paint, 1 part water. Because yeah, with the same mixing ratio it was still very thick. But now these ones are a little bit thicker. Not really thick, but just a little bit that you can have the other sitting on top of it and swim. So okay, I'm gonna give this a try and see if it gives me anything similar. It is very crucial, I think, that you don't have too much paint sitting on top of it, because then you will obviously only push the blob in the middle aside and pour it all off. So I'm gonna try to only use very little ring pour on top of it, and I'm gonna try to keep it together as much as possible before I tilt it. Okay, gonna put you on the other side, and as always with a dark pour, it's probably gonna be difficult to see during the pour, but I'm gonna show you the end result from this side of the pour again. So now I think I exaggerated it a bit. I had lots of metallics in the middle, and I wanted to stop it from move already, so I wanted to pour something outside on the outer ring. I'm not sure if that should work, because then now I should have covered it a little bit more, I think, with the rings, because I can see the metallics here now already. But okay, I'm gonna just torch it for the air bubbles. There is no silicone. So now the gold would have been sitting like here, because the layer already moved. You can also see it here that there's still a lot of it under. So the worries now is if I tip it over a lot, then I lose the gold. But you also, on the other hand, need to pour it off. So let's do that. What you have now is that you don't actually see anything of the gold yet, because it's still under a layer of paint. So perhaps it's still too much, so let's see how much I can really tilt off. If I get anything of, because this is, no matter if it's the sheen or not the sheen, the problem with this. If the underlaying layer moves slower, you might eventually already have poured everything off. Do you see anything gold? I don't. I still don't see any of it, and I also wouldn't think that I poured it all off, because also here there is nothing. Okay, so there is a thing. I see here little points where exactly that type of thing is happen, where the top layer is repelling from the gold. So I see some here. You can't, this one was still on top, so that doesn't count. But there are some here. Of course, now my ring pour is already totally gone because I poured everything off. But here some gold is coming through. So the theory that it could just be consistency and metallics, I think it could be really true, or consistency. It's just a question how to get more out than this. Because I had a lot of gold that can't be, where is it? With popping some air bubbles, which are obviously on the top layer, I can see it being under there. So some came out, a really few little drops. I can definitely see that they're under the top layer, sitting under the top layer. I just So it's not really working, but the logic from consistency and different consistencies and repelling metallics should be true, but perhaps just not enough. And I really want to see now where it is, so I'm going to swipe over it a little bit. So here it's still rather thick. I can see all the rose gold under it. So it kept sitting there almost, looks like. So perhaps it didn't move enough. See, it's still a lot of rose gold here. But it wasn't that thick actually. So perhaps it was still too much paint. But I think I'm gonna try to order this other stuff and try again, because recipe, consistency, etc. was the same. It just didn't move at all. Okay, so I hope that saved you a little bit of trouble, and stay tuned for a lot more experiments, which I always do on this channel, and perhaps also for the next one with more success. Hope to see you back soon.